unethical. This is unethical.
This is unethical.
Dirty mouth radio. This is unethical. This is unethical. This is unethical. Dirty mouth radio. Dirty mouth radio. This is unethical. This is unethical.
This is unethical. Dirty mouth radio.
Dirty mouth radio. This is unethical.
This is unethical.
This is unethical. Dirty mouth radio. Dirty mouth radio.
Dirty Mouth Radio.
What up? It's your boy Kemetic Energy, and this is Dirty Mouth Radio, Dirty 30, man. What up, Cray? We up in this joint, man.
What's good? What's
poppin', man? We gonna make this shit quick, man. First question, man. Question of the day type shit. So what is like 3 things that you would want to change in relation to your gender? Like if you were the spokesman on behalf of all the dudes out here, and the spokeswoman on behalf of all the females out here was like, yo, there's 3 things you need to identify in regards to your gender that needs to be changed. What are those 3 things? Just off the dome.
3 things that I would want to change about my gender, nigga?
Yeah, like 3 things. I don't mean physical, nigga. I'm just talking about like, the 3 problems. Identify the 3 problems that we have.
Okay, for one, I would like to change the idea and connotation that all men are fucking dogs. That whole fucking bullshit. For 2, I would like to change the idea and the connotation that monogamy is all right and polygamy is all wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then for 3, I would like to change the, shit, I don't even know what I want the third one to be. Them 2 joints is like my 2 solid joints. Like the third one is just like this one don't have to do with my gender, but more so the female gender, that women are always right. But those are just concepts and ideas and shit that people came up with. It's not really like I don't know if that can be. I don't know if those shits can qualify, but
true.
But I'm going with that shit. I ain't, how you feel about what I said?
I mean, I agree with that shit. No doubt. I was talking about that we got to kind of normalize, like, I don't want to say we being soft out here, but you got to kind of normalize the idea that men got feelings. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know how everybody got to say that men got to be strong and all this other shit? Well, everybody got their breaking point. So I feel like that kind of goes into like mental health. Like it needs to be more talking about mental health amongst black men. Because we be suffering in silence, and that's how a lot of shit be happening. I think another thing is we got to kind of be more in tune with our emotional side rather than just our logic. I already told you, I said it in a bunch of episodes. We think more logical than we do emotional. So we got to kind of like shift that mindset a little bit. And I think the third one, what's the third one? Shit, I don't even fucking know.
But I mean, like, when you saying like change the idea that all men have to be strong and shit like that, men suffering in silence, you right. But like, I don't know, because I feel like then now we starting to reach into like roles and shit, like the roles and the differences between a man and a woman.
No,
it's like
not really though. I can't really say that. Nah, I have to disagree with that. All I'm saying is we already know we gotta be strong. We gotta be physically strong, but the problem is, even though we have to be strong, we kind of gotta deal with situations. We still got situations that we deal with personally on an emotional level, just like women do. But it needs to kind of be talked about more. That's what I'm trying to say. You see what I'm saying?
That the conversation needs to arise more.
We need to. Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes we gotta go through that shit. We bottle that shit in, and then some people be offing themselves and dealing with all of this, and whole time you thinking this man is good because he's strong and shit when he going through a whole bunch of shit emotionally. The mental aspect, there's not enough talk about the mentality, the mental of I'm gonna just say for us, the black man. You feel what I'm saying? That's just, I don't know. That's just my take. I can't even come up with a third.
I would say man in general, because it ain't just black men who go through this shit.
Yeah,
It's all men have to go through a warrior mentality. But like, I get what you're saying. Like the conversation doesn't often happen, but a lot of times that shit don't often happen because going back to what I was just saying about like what I would want to change about women always being right. Like it's always like men are victimized. Because it's like men supposed to be able to take more shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like it's like whatever route the man decides to go, he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? If he's really strong, then he's too strong. He's overbearing. If he ain't as strong, then he's weak. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's like the female always has the right of way. Like they can be fucking right and be right, be wrong and be wrong and shit. And like nobody questions that shit. Yeah. Because women can be soft or they can be hard. You know what I'm saying? But men have like one way that they gotta be. Like and everybody just kind of agrees with that shit to for the sake of, diffusing the argument and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of times men just kind of take the bow out or just take the motherfucking plea and shit just so that they ain't gotta deal with the bullshit. Like again, we deal with logic. We think logically. So it's like, okay, it's more logical to allow them to think that they won so that we can just move the fuck on. Yeah. And a lot of women just think like, and I think that's why a lot of women feel like they always right because we always giving them the win and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, rarely do you see men actually challenge women and shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, conversation wise, emotional wise, it's like men don't challenge the women's concept of like thinking when it comes to shit. We just kind of like fall into place and shit like that. I don't know. And if we do challenge the shit, then it's saw as like, oh, he aggressive. You a bitch. Like, why are you talking to a woman? Why are you arguing with a woman?
It's like a lose-lose situation.
Yeah,
that's real. That's real.
I mean, like, not challenging a female on a physical aspect, but just like in conversation, it's like, why are you arguing with the female? It's like, all right, you're right. You know what I'm saying? She a girl, she a female. It's like, oh,
Yeah, I feel you on that.
That conversation do need to be happening, son.
Yeah, man, that shit real. Mental health matters, man. That shit is, it's a beast. Like, for real. Yeah, but you had something, man. We got about, 22 minutes? You had a topic, yo. What's popping?
Man, shit. Talking about that shit just made me fucking lose my damn. I done forgot now. Shit.
Oh, shit.
But shit, I'm just, honestly, I ain't been really thinking about much except for like just money moves and just trying to make power moves and make wise decisions. Like lately I've been spending my time just surfing away, trying to find ways to make money so that I can make money, make me more bread. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily putting all my energy into like working for money and shit, but more so like trying to find smart ways that I can make bread in several different ways to make money at the same time. So I'm simultaneously making bread, from different areas.
And talk about it. What? How you doing it? How you making it happen?
Well, first you just go through your life. First you gotta evaluate. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I've been doing.
Okay.
First, it's like an evaluation of like everything you've done up until now. You know what I'm saying? 33 years on this planet and shit. Like, what the fuck have I done and what have I been doing and what mistakes have I made, you know, and how have I learned, and where am I in contrast to my parents and how they moved and shit like that, and just seeing how fast I develop and at what rate, you know. Just analyzing that and seeing how hard I work and like what's the product, what I'm producing and shit. And then once you do that, you just kind of start doing calculations on numbers and shit like that, coming up with ideas. Like you can't figure out what to do unless you start confronting your faults and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just complaining and whining and shit about shit all the time. You ain't really doing nothing. So once you do that, it's like you confront those issues, you find out what's going on, then you start doing the math and shit. You start coming up with numbers like, okay, I only need this much money to be this right here. If I can make this much money, you know what I'm saying, a month, then I could be like this. I could be 6 figures and shit, you know, with a part-time job, or with no job at all. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't all gotta come from one place. But like maybe you could have 20% of it come from one place, and then you know you just do percentages from different areas of life and shit. Because you know, just talking and doing research, like there's money everywhere. It's like there's people giving away money. Like if you think about it, once you start thinking about like making money, like you know, just money making itself and shit, you start realizing you got money in places that you didn't realize money was at. You know what I'm saying? Then you're like, okay, well, shit, this shit just sitting here. Let me try to put this shit somewhere where it can acquire more bread without me having to do anything at all. You know, and you start rewiring your brain and shit. But it's the difficult part is, and the annoying part is like, get upset because like, man, fuck, like a nigga wasn't taught none of this shit coming up. And like, you like, I'm in my 30s. Like, did I waste all that time in my 20s just like running around in circles, chasing my tail and shit?
So why do you think that it wasn't taught? That because we hear that a lot though. Amongst our generation. But why was it not taught? Why do you think it was?
I think there's a couple reasons. For one, I think like our past generations didn't know how to teach that shit. Didn't know what they were teaching it. And I think the past generations were really afraid of the wealthy mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it was always taught that like money is the root of all evil. More money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? And I think niggas was afraid to make more bread because they was afraid of the responsibilities and shit that would come with it. You know what I'm saying? It was more so like, all right, just find yourself a job and be satisfied with what you do have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need everything in the world. It's like, yeah, nigga, we don't need everything in the world, but honestly, we don't need jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to go that route and shit, we don't need none of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you want that shit, you know, and you make yourself come up with reasons why you need that shit. You know what I'm saying? So then you go and get it. I got 9 kids, so I'm gonna get this house and shit for my wife and for my kids and shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it was always taught like hard work pays off in the end. And it's like, yeah, it does, but if you work in the wrong way, then you just really just.
So you say to a certain extent, when they say hard work pays off, yeah, but are we working hard the right way? Are we working hard towards the right goal?
Man, we working hard. Hard work pays off for somebody else's dream, nigga.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you working, depending on how you working, like you can have all these morals and shit and do all of this shit and still be poor as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's niggas right now. Like, it's like, if you think about how America works, if you can see it in American society. Yeah. The niggas, it's a tipping balance. The niggas that work the hardest are the niggas that are the poorest, pretty much. Not even the poorest. Well, they're at the bottom. The niggas that work the least are the niggas that are always at the top. And you can see this shit. I'll give a prime example. When you walk into a business, who the first person you see that's working and shit?
The cashiers? What you mean?
The cashiers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The niggas that's out in front and shit, right? Mm-hmm. That's doing all this physical labor and doing all this maneuvering.
Like the frontline workers, yeah.
You go in the back. Who's back there? On the computers and shit.
Management.
And how much more bread do they make compared to the niggas that they work, you know what I'm saying?
Pretty sufficient amount.
You know what I'm saying? How much physical labor do they have to put in considered compared to the motherfuckers that's making less than them?
That's something I always talk about. So let's break that shit down, right? Because I've had numerous conversations with people who are the technical core of the company, which are like you said, the frontline workers, as well as management, the people that are at the top of the totem pole, pretty much. And I always hear that management, I'm tired. God damn, I didn't work the hard shift. But if you ain't put in no manual labor, what type of hard did you really put in? Like you worked hard delegating?
Well, you got two different types of like hard labor. You got the physical aspect, and then you got the mental aspect. Yeah. I won't lie. The mental aspect can be just as tiring as the physical labor and shit, depending on what you managing and shit like that. But that's why you got other niggas under you and shit too. You know what I'm saying? But
see, I can't. Okay, so for people that don't know that that are listening right now, right? I have a master's degree in management, right? And one thing that I've kind of noticed when it comes to working different jobs, even frequenting different establishments and looking at management does more complaining than technical workers from what I see, and the main place I see it is really at the job. It seems like the technical core of the company, the workers there, they complain when they get off work about how stressed they are and how tired they are. But management, they stress out at the job. I never could wrap my head around that. And I see them, they look like they complain worse than the technical core of the company. And to me, I feel like that is a bunch of bullshit. And I feel like it's a little bit of entitlement out here. Because, and I'll be frank with it, I know somebody personally that does that shit a lot in their management. And I always ask them, I say, what you tired about? Man, it was a hard day at work and da-da-da-da. Well, how hard was it? You got people working for you. How hard was it to tell so-and-so to go do so-and-so while you type on the computer? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bash them, but I be trying to figure this shit out. Like, what? You did the equivalent of texting on a fucking cell phone, sending a message. What tiring is that? It reminds me of like the Jetsons. When George Jetson used to press buttons at work and say, God damn, I'm tired. Motherfucker, you press 3 buttons. What the fuck are you tired about? I don't know, man. If listeners want to chime in on that shit when we put this out under the comments, just let me know. Like, why do you really can you really say you're tired? Or is it really an entitlement type of thing? And you kind of like not seeing it from the technical core's perspective. Because when I tell people about that, they say, well, damn, I guess you're right. I shouldn't be tired. You see what I'm saying? This motherfucker's over here moving refrigerators and shit, and you telling him to move it, but you tired? What? Motherfucker, this dude is exhausted.
And I think that's the problem too. I think that's where the problem lies. Like, niggas climb the ladder not because they trying to better themselves, but more so because they're trying to alleviate work and shit. Yeah. So it's like the laziest. That's why the laziest niggas is the ones that's in management shit. We can't say that about everybody. You can't say that about everybody. Yeah. But you notice that shit a lot. It be the laziest motherfuckers who be in management. That's why they there, so they can tell other motherfuckers what to do and shit. Yeah. But then they still be lazy about that shit, talking about I'm tired of shit. I'm tired of working and shit. I'm tired. I got all of these people under me that I gotta manage and shit like that. And I guess for the worker, it's really less mental thinking because you just doing what you told. So you have less mental thinking and more physical labor and shit. The management is more mental challenge, more mental challenges and more mentally taxing and shit. Which I mean, I get, but to me, it's like I don't know. I mean, because then it's like, well, should management be making just as much as the people who they work under? I mean, who work under them? You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, that kind of sounds weird, but. I don't know how that shit should work. I just know that it's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean it totally is.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. Honestly I don't.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it can't be equal, but I feel like I think I've worked with some damn good managers. I think it's the mindset. That's what really gets me the most. I worked a lot of jobs, right? And I'm still young. But I've worked with managers that have like been total dickheads, and I've worked with managers that like really get out there. They say fuck, granted I'm a manager, but I knew one manager and I shot him out, man, Mr. Banks, man. This was my very first job, and this dude was like older, right? He was the head manager, right? This motherfucker would take his damn suit jacket off and be in the trenches like everybody else working. Yeah. This motherfucker is moving pallets and shit. And you wouldn't have known he's a goddamn manager, but I always say there's different types of managers. And when you have different types of managers, you have different levels of effectiveness as a manager. Like the first of all, let's get into this right here because we got a few minutes. You have a leader and you have a manager, all right? So a leader solves a problem and prevents it from happening in the future, but you have a manager that pretty much puts a Band-Aid on a problem. You see what I'm saying? And that is that's the key differentiation between somebody that's in the trenches working and somebody that's just trying to crack the whip out here. You see what I'm saying? Like you really, I feel like to be truly effective, you have to know how this shit works. You have to get up in there and you got to do it, man. You can't just sit up here. That ain't no different than the slave driver mentality. You see what I'm saying?
True.
Like we all know that slavery and segregation is just transformed. We still use them same principles till this day.
So you saying like as a manager, you shouldn't just be like standing behind the scenes watching everybody else do the work. You should, if you're gonna tell them to do the work, you should be out there doing it too.
To a certain extent, yeah. I'm trying to say, like, okay, delegating is cool. You should be the one out there delegating to a certain extent. But I feel like you can't just slave drive the whole goddamn time and be the first one saying you tired. Motherfucker, you ain't done shit.
You ain't doing shit.
Yeah, and it's never gonna be it's never gonna be as effective as you think it is just by telling them what to do. I don't give a fuck how good of a manager you are. Just telling them how to do it is not going to be as effective as you actually being out there with them, because the key product in that formula is the fact of morale. Ain't nobody going to really want to do it if you're just a slave driver fucking manager. Right.
And that's a part of that leadership too, man, because as a leader, you don't lead. Like you gotta be out there.
Yeah, son. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I think niggas have developed like a mentality, and it's a rich, wealthier mind state mentality, because as a person building wealth, you start realizing like I'm not about to be, you know what I'm saying, you start trying to find ways to not have to work, so that you know what I'm saying, and allowing others to do work for you, and allowing your money to make money for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you learn to get out of the worker mentality and shit. The more you start diving into like building wealth and, you know, trying to become financially free and stuff like that. I understand that shit. But like when you're running a business or a company, like you're running that shit, like this is your business and your company and shit, or like you're a part of a business or a company and you're a manager or supervisor or some shit like that. Yeah. Like you're a leader, like you gotta be out there with them people too, because if you standing over here and you just pointing in directions and telling and hollering directions and orders and shit like that, but you ain't putting in no fucking physical work, then it's like, why the fuck should I respect you? Like, you make all of this bread just to stand here and tell me what the fuck to do, like, and you won't do shit but push papers and shit. Like, anybody can fucking do that shit.
And that's like, morale. That's morale right there. Fuck this motherfucker. I'm gonna do just the bare minimum, and I'm not about to rush to do none of this shit.
Right, exactly. So that's when you start finding people starting to be like, yeah, I'm not about to. But then, as soon as people see motherfuckers taking it a lot easier and like trying to be, more cautious of how they treat their mental and their body as a worker.
Yeah.
Then them motherfuckers want to start calling them lazy. Like, oh yeah, that nigga, he just lazy and shit. I tell him to do something, he take his sweet time. It's like, well, dog. What the fuck do you do?
Yeah.
Like, you don't do shit. This motherfucker has to work at a certain level all day long. And you get to change up your variance and your levels. If you want to work hard, then you can. If you don't, you know what I'm saying? But this motherfucker got to stay at this level the whole day. So y'all work capacity is, you know what I'm saying? Y'all work, how much this person has to give out versus how much you have to give out is totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. 90, now you're saying this motherfucker is using his body, or she's using her body. They're putting their bodies out there. Like,
yeah.
And I think that's what motherfuckers fuck with. They think that human beings are just like robots and they don't need food and shit and water. Like, 15-minute break, 30-minute break. Like, that's enough time. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like 15, like, how they, I guess the standard is like 15, 30, 15 across jobs and shit.
Yeah, like break wise, yeah.
Yeah, but then some jobs they give you like the whole hour together.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
So, I don't know. But 8 hours of a fucking day of working is a long ass time. That's a whole ride from fucking Houston, Texas to damn near New Orleans and or Alabama.
What the crazy shit about that? I had just seen this, right? So the whole just a little history for people. The whole concept of an 8-hour day, 5-day work week. That came from Henry Ford.
For real?
That nigga actually started that shit. An 8-hour day, 5-day work week.
Damn.
That's some wild shit, man. Now, I couldn't give you the history of what the shifts was before that, but I feel like that shit got to change within itself.
You don't think people should be working 8 hours? 5 days?
I don't know. I feel like,
I don't think, you know what? When you say that shit, niggas shouldn't have to fucking work like that. It's not necessary, dog, to work that fucking much when you think about it. Because, okay, let's think about it from a survival aspect. Like, you throw a nigga out in the fucking wilderness, right? What's the fucking first instinct and shit? To find shelter and shit, right?
Yeah.
But from that point on, everything that person does is beneficial to themselves. It's not beneficial to nobody else.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So every little piece of work that you do is beneficial to you and your life. So if you were put on this planet to take care of yourself and survive and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because everything else on this planet is worried about itself. Animals, plants, and shit like that. Ain't no plants and shit working to take care of nothing else. They work and they, you know what I'm saying, and what they produce is beneficial to other beings and shit like that. But they ain't specifically working for the benefit of, ain't no lily working specifically for the benefit of bees and shit. You know what I'm saying? Bees just can benefit from what it is that the lily is receiving or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like with the human mentality, it's like we making humans work for other humans and shit. You know what I'm saying? So we work more for other people's fucking pleasure and shit and less for our own personal health and lifestyles and shit. So you spend less time at home and shit and more time at your fucking job, you know what I'm saying? Putting in work for somebody else's fucking house.
Yeah, exactly.
And it ain't supposed to be like that.
Fuck no.
You know, like, and you could rave about the economy going and crashing and shit like that, but like, dog, this shit is fucked up. Like, the economy crashing, nigga. The country's already in a fucking trillion deficit. Like, what the fuck you mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm surprised the motherfucker ain't crashed by now, motherfucker. Like, what you talking?
At some point, all of this shit gotta come to an end, and something has to be reborn. Like,
you know, they can't. You know, the country can't even come to terms with how much bread they're gonna be allowed to spend. It just keep getting higher and higher and higher. We keep going to more and more and more debt. You know, like, and that's a representation of the American people. Like, the country is in debt, so the people are in debt.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's like, wow, you know, like, everybody's fucking in debt. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, the country is literally representing its culture. Like, debt is what the fuck we at. We fucked up.
We operating off IOUs out here. That's pretty much what it is. Everything is operating off IOUs.
Working hard as shit every day. Every hour, every minute. The fucking country that never fucking sleeps and never takes a break. We just putting in all this work, all this time, and we not enjoying life and shit. We got niggas killing themselves, people going on strikes and suicides and shit. People going on strikes screaming, we need more jobs. You know?
Yeah.
Take your fucking ass outside and goddamn plant some goddamn food and shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you complaining because there's not enough jobs. We don't have enough money to put on to buy food and shit. You know, like, okay, how about we out here protesting about trying to get more bread. How about we fucking come out here and come up with a way that we can make some more food for ourselves, or like grow something, or come up with a reserve to where we can build for our community. Why we, you know, like, we relying on other people's labor. You know, but then we saying, like, I have to work because my family needs to eat. You not doing shit, nigga. All you doing is spinning a wheel. You running in a circle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your family needs you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, your money is you throwing your money down the drain because you working for money that's gonna get spent on food that's gonna get eaten. Then where's the money at? It's gone. Where's the food at? It's gone. So now you gotta go back to work and make some more bread. But when you could fucking find a way to make your own food, you know, that way when you take food, you put it back into the ground so it's continuously growing and shit. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying we need to cultivate our own foods.
Bro, we need to, yes.
That solves one problem, but what's the other problem of generating the money?
The money, like, I think the idea of working, that, again, here we go. We about to go right back into it. The idea of working for money is what the fucking problem is.
There you go.
Niggas need to stop working for fucking money. You know what I'm saying? We working for money. We not working for our health. We not working for our kids. We not working for our wives and our family. That's just what we think we're doing when we're saying we're working for money and
so
shit.
we need to work for sustainability.
Exactly.
There you go. Bam. Hey, well, this is 30 minutes, man. That was it right there. Ring the bell. Yo, so like we said, this is new, man. It's the Dirty Mouth Radio Dirty 30, man. So with that being said, this is your boy Kemetic Energy.
Your boy Kraynupe.
And we out. Peace out, peoples. Good night.
This show was produced by Livewire Sound and Entertainment. If you're looking to rent premium sound equipment for your next concert or podcast at a low price, go to www.livewiresoundent.com.